In this video, we're going to look at how to solve quadratic equations by factorising. Okay, well, I'm going to recap very quickly how to factorize quadratic expressions. If you can't remember how to do it, or if you need a little bit more practice, you can watch a video on factorizing quadratics. Okay, I'm interested in those two numbers, 12 and 7, and I want two numbers that are times, okay, to get 12, and the same two numbers that I add, okay, to get 7. And I hope you can all see that the two numbers are 3 and 4. So when I factorize my expression, I get x plus 3 in one bracket and then x plus 4 in the other bracket. And that is supposed to be equal to 0. Now, please remember that between brackets, between the two brackets, we've got multiplication. Now, for us to be able to get 0 as our answer, one of those brackets must be equal to 0. So either x plus 3 is equal to 0 or x plus 4 is equal to 0. So we have two very simple equations. Okay, so x plus 3 is equal to 0. When we solve it, we know that the x is equal to minus 3, and x plus 4 is equal to 0. So I know that x is equal to minus 4. And this is our solution. Okay, so we know that x is equal to minus 3 or x is equal to minus 4. In the next example, again, I want two numbers that are times to get positive 2, and then the same two numbers that are add to get negative 3. So the two numbers, okay, must be minus 1 and minus 2. Okay, so this is what I get when I factorize this expression. So now remember that we have multiplication between the two brackets. Okay, so the whole expression will be equal to 0 if x take away 1 is equal to 0 or x take away 2 is equal to 0. So that means that x is equal to 1 or x equals 2. Okay, in the last example, okay, again I need to factorize it first. Okay, now hopefully you can all see that you need x take away 6 and then x plus 5, because when I multiply negative 6 and positive 5, I get negative 30, and then when I add negative 6 and 5, I get negative 1. Okay, so now x take away 6 must be equal to 0 or x plus 5 must be equal to 0. So x equals 6 or x equals minus 5. Now we're going to look at slightly different equations when you are using the difference of two squares. Okay, so here the factorizing looks a little bit different. Now remember about the shortcut. Okay, you can think about square root of 25. Okay, square root of 25 is 5. So I need x minus 5 in one bracket and then x plus 5 in the other bracket. Okay, and that is equal to 0. So that means that x is equal to 5 or x is equal to negative 5. Okay, again, if you're not sure how to factorize it, you can use a better explanation, or you can watch a better explanation in another video that focuses on factorizing quadratics. Okay, one more. Again, you want to work out square root of 144, and that is 12. So that means I put x take away 12 in one bracket and then x plus 12 in the other bracket. Okay, and again, at least one of those brackets need to be equal to 0. So either x take away 12 or x plus 12 is equal to 0. So x equals 12 or x equals negative 12. Okay. This time we have a slightly harder question, okay? Again, if you don't know how to factorize this type of expression when the value of a is not 1, you can watch my video on factorizing quadratic expression. I do have an explanation there, okay? But I will explain it here as well. So we need to times 2 and 1, okay, and we get 2. So now I know that I want two numbers that I times to get 2, and the same two numbers that I add, okay, to get 3, okay, 3. So the numbers are 1 and 2. Okay, now I'm going to rewrite the equation, okay, using 2x and x. Now I'm going to factorize the first two terms. So that's 2x, then x plus 1. And then I'm going to factorize the other two. Now the highest common factor here is actually 1, and I have x plus 1 in the brackets. Okay, now notice that we have the same bracket, and this is exactly what we want. X plus 1 becomes our factor, and then 2x plus 1 goes in the other bracket. And just like before, okay, this will be equal to 0 if at least one of those brackets, okay, is 0. So x plus 1 is equal to 0, or 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. So x must be minus 1, or 2x equals negative 1, so x is equal to negative half. One more example. First, I need to times 2 and negative 9. So 2 times negative 9 is negative 18. So I want two numbers that I times to get negative 18, and the same two numbers that I add to get positive 3. Okay, so the two numbers are 6 and negative 3. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite my equation to a squared, add 6a, take away 3a, take away 9 equals 0. And again, I'm going to factorize the first two expressions. That's 2a and then a plus 3. And then I'm going to factorize the other two. Okay, that's minus 3 and a plus 3. Again, notice that we get the same expression inside the bracket, which is exactly what we want. And that becomes our factor. And then 2a minus 3 goes in the other bracket. Now, this will be equal to 0 if at least one of those brackets is equal to 0. So a plus 3 is equal to 0, or 2a take away 3 is equal to 0. So a is equal to negative 3, or 2a is equal to 3. So a equals 1.5.